What's up, everybody? It is the Pauper J. I am glad to be back. It's been a couple minutes since I have recorded and uploaded anything, but here I am to tell you guys about some Pauper War of the Spark spoilers. Starting off, this is lazotep, reaver, a 2-mana 1/2, and when it enters the battlefield, it amasses 1, and amasses the new mechanic that puts a +1/+1 counter on an army you control, and if you don't control one, put a 0/0 black army creature token on the battlefield first. So it enters the battlefield, it makes a 0/0, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's 2 mana for a 1/2 and a 1/1. That is also a zombie, and the token is also a zombie. So this card is going to be insane, and it is definitely going to be going into my zombies deck for Pauper, which runs cards like Carrion Feeder and Gem Palm Polluter. So putting 2 bodies onto the battlefield is definitely going to be great for Gem Palm Polluter, seeing that it cares about how many zombies are in play. So the other cards that would enter the battlefield and you sack them and put another one onto the battlefield, those ones only carry 1 body at a time, while this one puts 2 onto the battlefield at the same time, meaning Gem Palm Polluter is going to have a lot more value. This card is basically a bad Goblin Grenade that can sacrifice anything. Or you can see it as a better/worse fling. It is a fling where the amount of damage always stays the same, but you can sacrifice a 1/1. So it is Heartfire, 1 colorless and a red for an instant that has an additional cost of sacrificing a creature or planeswalker. You're only going to end up sacrificing the creature in Pauper. Sadly, we're not getting our common planeswalker like I was wanting, because a Pauper playable planeswalker would have been awesome. But that's asking for too much. But it deals 4 damage to any target. So this can remove a creature as well, or deal the damage. I think we'll have Boros Weenie decks, or just like red-green decks that have creatures that come back after they die. I think this is possibly playable there. Also, red-black aristocrats might find this an okay card. The fact that you need a creature to use its ability is a little rough, but with creatures that can die and then come back, or even tokens that you make multiple of, it's a pretty good valued card. You're paying 1 more mana than Bolt, and you're getting another extra damage that can kill another creature. This card can kill certain cards, and I think Affinity. I think it kills a Muldrifter. I don't know Muldrifter stats, but I'm pretty sure this kills a Muldrifter. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. It's a little bit better than Bolt on the damage output, and it costs a lot more actually. The fact that you have to sacrifice a creature, but to end a game, like this is 1/5 of your life total. You get 4 of these in a deck. You cast a couple of these. You deal a little bit of damage. It's definitely an aggressive card. I can see this seeing a little bit of play, but I'm not quite sure. I would much rather have a Goblin Grenade for the Goblin decks. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of this card existing. And now finally we are getting to 2 cards that I am very, very excited for in Pauper, because possibly, just possibly, it might create a whole archetype around these 2 cards. Pollenbright Druid is a 2-mana 1/1. And when it enters the battlefield, you choose one. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or you proliferate. Proliferate is when you choose any number of permanents and or players and give them each another counter they already have there. So +1/+1 counters and -1/-1 counters and infect counters on players. Bloom Hulk is a 4-mana 4/4 that proliferates again. I don't think Bloom Hulk is exactly what we're looking for in Pauper, but it is a proliferate ability that is an enter the battlefield ability on a decently sized creature. But I'm more really impressed with Pollenbright Druid, because I think this might open up at least a casual Pauper deck for proliferate. Pauper proliferate. It will end up being a black-green deck. Why I believe it's going to end up being black-green is because of cards like Grim Affliction and Aquastrand Spider. Grim Affliction is a 3-mana instant in black that puts a -1/-1 counter on target creature and then proliferates. This being either our 2nd or 3rd proliferate card in the deck, depending on if the Bloom Boy ends up in the deck at all. But Putting a -1 counter on target creature and then proliferating all of our +1/+1 counters and that -1 counter will end up just adding so much value into the late game, allowing us just to kill creatures. Aquastrand Spider is a 2-mana Graft 2 Spider Mutant and enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters, and when another creature enters the battlefield, you may move a +1/+1 counter from it onto it. So this allows you to be able to proliferate 2 creatures at once just from one card if the other card doesn't enter with the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. Remember, you get to stack enter the battlefield triggers. So you can go ahead and stack the Bright Druid and have it proliferate, and then this go on top of that. You put a +1/+1 counter on it, I believe, and then you can put, I believe you'll be able to proliferate the counter on her as well. Perhaps. There should be a way to do that. If not, that's kind of sad. But also, the spider has, for green, you can give target creature +1, with a target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, gains reach until end of turn. So that allows them to basically block flyers. There are a couple flyers in Pauper. It allows you to block Delver, so that's pretty good. Also, you get to play things like Carrion Feeder and Festering Mummy, sort of like how the zombie deck does, where you can just sacrifice the Festering Mummy, start picking off their creatures. But once you start doing that, you sacrifice the Festering Mummy, you put a +1/+1 counter on one of their creatures, then you got a Carrion Feeder that now has a +1/+1 counter. Both of those are able to be proliferated, meaning you just have a whole bunch of value you're running around with. So I think there is a possibility for at least a casual deck here. But other than that, I think there's not much more you can do with it other than just have a fun, kill your stuff, make my stuff bigger deck. But on that note, this is where I'll be ending the video. If you like these little spoilers and how I talked about how they can be played, hit the subscription button. If there's any more playables popping out, I will go ahead and probably do a video on them. If not, I'll just let them slide due to the fact that there won't be enough content on just 1 or 2 cards. But I feel like a couple cards like this was enough to do a video on. But, yep, subscribe, like, subscribe again. Actually, don't subscribe again. That unsubscribes, I believe. But I'll see you guys later.